Coming up, a Sad Styles production.
Get into it.
And welcome to the Retrograde video game podcast, where this week we take a look back at one of the best video game cartoons of all the time. Oh, my Pazan! My name is Andrew Baskin. With me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself. My Aaron Weirth. What? Okay, explain. Well, because it's kind of like the original thing, but doesn't really make sense. I have so many things written down. We're about to do the Super Mario TV show. What is it called again? It's called the Super Mario Brothers, or like Bros. Super Show. Super Show. Excuse me. That's what it is. I kept going to the word live. I'm like, well, it's definitely not live. Definitely not live. Oh boy. In fact, some of the jokes fall pretty dead. Okay, there's so many things where. Okay, yeah, we can't start now. We got to start from the beginning. Uh-huh. But we're about to talk about that show, the Super Show, so Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Andrew, you're good at this. Yeah, I am. I've been doing this for years now. It's on YouTube. Go watch it now, because we're about to talk. Oh, is that where you watched it? YouTube? I watched it on YouTube. Oh, it's on Prime Video as well. Is it? It is. Somebody paid for licensing rights? Like main subscription to Prime. You don't even need like a Stack TV, City TV, Love Child subscription of Amazon Prime minus the additional ads. And I went into I got a Stack TV subscription through Amazon Prime so I could watch Rick and Morty. I could catch up on Rick and Morty. And so I canceled the subscription before the free trial ran out. And in doing so, I was like, you know what? Let me see what other subscriptions I have, because I'm sure I've done this before with like adding things onto Amazon Prime. Somehow I had the regular Prime subscription. I had Paramount Plus. I had City TV, which is a Canadian thing. Yep. I had Stack TV and AMC Plus. It was like $50 worth of extra charges, and I don't know where they were showing up on my. They're not on my credit card statement. Well, I love when they hide them with like very odd names, where you see charges and you're like, "The fuck is that?" Yes, and you're like, "Huh." Yeah, Fleshlight Co. What the hell is that? Yeah, what even is that? Why do I keep getting them twice a month? I definitely don't. And I don't even know why they would deliver them in the boxes that they do. If I knew what boxes they delivered them in, see-through boxes are a bold choice. See-through boxes are a very bold choice. By the way, that's clear. That's the name. Guy holding it like fucking hell. Like, oh man, you think the person receiving is embarrassed? Imagine wearing little shorts in the winter and carrying those boxes around. 6 of those boxes. 6 going to the one house. Busy day, or what's going on? Oh wow, it's on Prime, eh? I didn't know that. I just assumed. I'm wondering if there's any differences between the versions, because maybe what I want to do is eventually kind of go over the establishment and the history of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and some of the rerun attempts and all this stuff. The version that we're watching, though, is the one that we remember as kids, right? It's Captain Lou Albano. Captain Lou Albano, professional wrestler, WWE Hall of Famer. WWE Hall of Famer, and famous in pop culture ways because you might know him from the Cyndi Lauper music videos. Time after time, he plays a cook, and he's the father in Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I didn't know that either. Yeah, that's actually how I knew him first. Really? Because his professional wrestling career was kind of ending as I was really loving wrestling. Early 90s. Yeah. He kind of stopped wrestling, I think, right around then, and became a manager, and I was kind of unaware of him. Well, he had important things to do, Andrew, like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Absolutely. Shaving his goatee, his famous goatee. Yeah. And because he had a very long chin goatee, and I think he shaved it for the show. And then he was kind of a manager, and that's when Cyndi Lauper also came to WrestleMania. I think they were like very good friends. Interesting. Or maybe they were dating. Were they dating? I said maybe they were dating. Well, maybe anyone's dating. I don't know. That's a great point. Maybe you and I are dating. Are we? Are we going to make this official? Should we have this talk on the podcast? Every time you mention your player one, you're talking about me. Yeah, I'm just talking about me. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? I feel like a Sixth Sense ending. Yeah, what a strange arc to this. Yeah. So they were married the whole time? They were married the entire time. Wow. Before we get into, kind of the history and stuff, sure. I have been playing other video games. Oh, yeah. And it's a video game that I have tried playing several times in the past. It's a game that I want to love more than any other game that I've ever played in my life. I've tried to play it, I think, 4 times. And this is the time I think I'm actually going to follow through with it. Okay. Because I've put a ton more hours into Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium. We kind of talked a few weeks ago about how it might be the next game that you check out. Is that still on your radar? Oh, yeah, no, absolutely it is. Okay. Yeah, it's something I can't wait to play.
The only problem is it does seem like a lot of effort, and not effort in the way that like Super Mario Wonder. God, I'm so frustrated. I got to figure out how to play this game. It's like, oh, I just got to listen to people read lines and read a lot.
That is the game.
Yeah.
You just have to think about it like you're reading a book or something like that.
And then you make choices that help shape your character and the world that you experience.
The story and the world building. The story is that it's a like 3+ 4 year old game or something like that at this point, maybe even 5. I think maybe 2019. A game that had a lot of attention. People who love tabletop RPGs can't stop talking about this game. It's like in a lot of their top 10s. The premise is you're a cop who recovers in your hotel room, or you're a person who recovers in your hotel room with amnesia. You don't remember anything about your life. You don't remember your name. Your room is trashed, and you find out that you're a cop in this village that is set there to solve a murder case. And as you're doing so, you're kind of rebuilding your identity and finding out who you are, which is a great ploy to allow yourself to build your own character traits out, because you are becoming someone as you're coming to. You have a partner who is very straight-laced and straight-edged. You run into a lot of strange characters in the world. It's very, as much as it takes itself seriously in terms of the world building, like there are politics that date back hundreds of years and wars, and it's not Earth. It's a fictional land,
right?
Although not sci-fi, like it treats itself like Earth, but the history that they create,
reality of
exactly, and the different political leanings and associations and gangs and what symbols mean and all that stuff. You really have to learn it and engross yourself in the culture of this game. And you can be as absurd as you want or as straight edge as you want. You can do drugs. You can swear off of drugs. You can be a serious cop. You can be a superstar cop. You can do weird things like there will be a dialogue option where you're talking to an old lady in a wheelchair and she's trying to talk to you about cryptids, and you have an option to just like run away, turn around, give her the middle finger and jump through the door. Like just weird shit like that.
Wow.
But there are so many, I think there were like literally 1 million lines of dialogue.
Oh my God.
In this game.
But when the game came out, there was no voice.
Very little voice.
Very little voice. And now it's been re-recorded.
Everything's recorded. Everything is voiced. Yes. It does add a lot to it. It's very atmospheric. That. Yeah, it's really cool. And it's tough because if you don't like these tabletop games, if you struggle envisioning the character you're playing as and role playing as them, if you struggle with dice rolls instead of combat encounters, you might struggle with the game a bit, but you're rewarded if you push through, which I've been doing, with just an incredible story and some situations that I think this game is fucking hilarious. There's some really funny moments. And the ways in which you kind of like pull them apart can be based on your character or your own preferences as the player of the game. And it doesn't really pigeonhole you too much in forcing you to be a certain way. So you can really explore and they say they reward you with multiple playthroughs quite significantly. So, and that when you play through as different character types, you see an entirely different game.
Really? How long is the game?
I think it's about 25 hours. I've heard as little as 15, but I've definitely spent more than 15 hours with the game. I'm probably close to 18 to 20 at this point.
Can I ask how you play this game? So do you go in going, I'm going to be a specific type, or you take it question by question?
So that's so hard. That's what I struggle with RPGs where like a traditional tabletop RPG, like if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're supposed to.
Are you okay?
No, Andrew, I'm really struggling. I've been doing a lot of reading lately.
It's like you read that phonetically. Dungeons and Dragons.
If I read it phonetically, it would be Dungians.
Okay. What is it called when, like in a dictionary? You know dictionaries, right?
I have no experience with them.
Okay. Well, this might be a little difficult for you.
But when I've heard of them. I'm not an idiot.
Okay. You've heard of them. Someone has explained a dictionary to you in the past.
Yeah. And they're like, this is heavy enough to hit you in the head real hard.
Not leave a bruise.
And cover the bruises. So dictionaries is where you look up people's phone numbers.
Yeah. Yes. I could tear one in half. Yeah. Yes. Do you know people that can tear a phone book in half?
Andrew, you're looking at one.
Can you do it?
No.
But there's a secret to it. It's not like somebody.
I think I could figure it out.
Captain Albano could do it just without the secret. He could just rip it in two
with his teeth. Yeah.
He'd look at it the wrong way. But I was saying dictionary, when they have a word that they're about to explain the definition of.
Yes.
But then in parentheses, it is blank dash blank blank.
Yeah.
So you'd understand how to pronounce it.
Like each.
What is that called?
That's a great question.
I thought that was phonetic, I'm wrong.
It's called helpful. It probably is phonetic.
Okay.
I'm just purposely misunderstanding you, Andrew. It's part of my banter.
Oh yeah.
It's part of what makes me so unpredictable, just like my character in Disco Elysium.
So do you go, I'm going to be chaotic, or you take it question by question?
So I wanted to when I first started playing the game, I did what I always do. And I'm like, I'm going to make Mikey in this game.
Yes.
And I think this game resists being played as a normal person.
As a boring person.
As a boring person.
Yes,
like legit. It's not fun to play as me. I try to play like morally and without, and then I started to realize and pick up on what it was asking you to do and learn the level up system with like all the different character traits and what they meant and how they affected dialogue and how you get these little like clues as to how to proceed through dialogue choices based on which character traits you've leveled up. So if I level up something called Half-Light, which is there's a classification of skills that are like physical, and Half-Light is like you got like a short trigger emotionally, like you might just explode a little bit, and you'd think that would be a bad thing, but the game just kind of makes it a part of your personality. So if I'm talking to someone and they're like really taking their time and kind of avoiding the question, I might get a clue from Half-Light, which is saying like it's like. This guy's like he's playing coy. You need to scare him into giving you the right answer. And then you know which of the dialogue options to choose from in order to get what you need out of this person.
Right.
Whereas if you have like drama, you might be able to like play along with this guy's long-winded story and like, oh boy, something like that. So when I started to pick up on that, I realized that like an extended version of myself, or like a more fun version of myself, is someone who fancies themselves, someone who can look at a situation and understand it and conceptualize it, but who has a very under the surface hidden issues with rage. So I've leveled up like my physical and my short temper with like drama and rhetoric and conceptualization. So I'm someone who you'll be in a conversation with that's really trying to like get to the bottom of like where you're coming from, and then you piss me off and I punch a tree for no reason like that. And it's funny to now have that in my mind. It's like I never really played Dungeons and Dragons growing up. I really played it growing up. So the idea of embodying someone who is not yourself is new to me and weird, but I am taking to it. Once I learned that's what it was. And if I say something that I would never say in my real life and I feel bad about it as the player, that's an emotion that the game is giving me that I wouldn't have otherwise gotten in like a movie or something, because I'm kind of living vicariously through the choices of this person who is not me.
Right. Okay.
It's cool.
That is really cool, because it does make it feel more open-ended.
Yeah.
If you had decided at which person you're going to become, then it doesn't have that randomness and those chance encounters that makes, I think, the game fun.
Yes.
So that's really great. I'm glad you're giving it another shot.
It's very cool. I'm liking it. I'm curious to see if you'd get into it, because it is a fantastic game. It's an incredibly well-made game. Right. But yeah, it can feel a little boring at times if you're not knowing that that's what you kind of have to come to expect.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. So I'm excited to play it, and I'm glad you're back at it.
Thanks. Speaking of, maybe a little bit boring and long-winded at some point, let's talk about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. It was one season. This version of it, this iteration, it aired from September to December of 1989. It was based technically on Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2. There was a sequel that came out that was based on Super Mario Bros. 3 the next year, and an eventual show that was based on Super Mario World. But this is the one I think we all remember growing up, right? Did you watch this one growing up?
I was aware of it. I don't think it was like, it's 4:00. It's Super Mario Super Show time. You know what I mean?
Which is weird though. Like, I guess because it was 1989, so we must have been watching maybe some of the remakes or something like that.
Well, we must have been.
Yeah.
This must have just entered syndication so fast where it's like, there's no timestamp on it at all.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. And in a lot of ways, it feels like, like sometimes Eastern European television will like take a show like Everyone Loves Raymond and do the Russian version of it.
Yeah.
This feels like that. There was just no American equivalent of it.
Yes.
It feels so foreign yet familiar.
It 100%. It feels like a fever dream also. Like it feels, I don't know who this was for, because it doesn't feel like a kid's show. It reads like an Abbott and Costello routine. And you have like little kids watching it. Just a smattering of comedy, especially because it starts like every episode is formatted. It's like what?
Sorry, I'm just laughing. There's so many things about the format that just make me laugh. That it's like, if we're negotiating now the idea that AI might be ruining all art for us eventually. This feels like it was written by AI.
This 100% feels like it's written by AI.
In the way that you're like, that's a joke. But that wasn't a joke though. There's no punchline to the joke.
They said it like you say jokes.
And I hear people laughing. Yeah. Fake people are laughing at it, but I didn't hear the joke. It's funny when Nicole Eggert steps in a cake that's on the ground. But why was a cake on the ground? That's what I'm talking about.
That is 100% AI. Like you're so right. It reads as that. And parts of it, like when I did find myself laughing, was at the absurdity, not at the joke, but at the absurdity of the joke. And I don't think that was their intention.
No, it's like AI says, it's okay. She was going to a dirty party because, and you go, and you sit there and you go, that's not a thing. And the AI is like, it definitely is a thing.
It's a sloppy party.
Many people go to sloppy parties. And I go, I don't think that's true.
So wouldn't it be funny if she were going to a sloppy party?
Yeah, it's like I'm turning to the computer and going like, well, now she's all messy. She's going to be furious at the Mario Brothers. And you go, no, they're not. They're going to a sloppy party. I'm like, explain. And he goes, sloppy parties are very popular around the 1989s. So I was like, I don't think so.
It's either written by AI or a 6-year-old. Like it also feels like that kind of
6-year-old that is learning English.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously those are two specific references to what we'll get into.
We'll talk about it.
We're going to do a beat by beat breakdown of the episode itself. We did episode 1. We kind of recommend watching the episode before you do it.
Absolutely.
We'll say when we're going to get into the episode itself, but it's fun to kind of watch it and then we'll try to compliment it as much as we can, but we're going to be talking a little bit of shit.
It's worth watching. It is absolutely worth watching. This is something we should say at the end, but I would just say before you stop this to go watch the episode, it takes 21 minutes.
Yeah.
It's worth watching because it is a weird time capsule of the time.
It's very curious in the best way possible.
That's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, it very much is.
Ouchies, I hurt my elbow.
Which is its catchphrase in the show.
Ouchies, I hurt my elbow.
That'd probably be better than some of them.
For context, 1989, this was 3 years before Mario Teaches Typing, or as you like to call it, Mario Teaches Us Typing.
Mario Teaches Us Typing.
This is still the era when Nintendo had not understood what IP control was.
Yes.
They hadn't taken back control over like the Philips CDI, the weird Zelda games, the Mario is missing, the Mario Teaches Typing, when they hadn't really guarded their IP and made sure that there was not just like a control over when other companies use Mario, but like not letting anyone touch him because they recognized what they had in him. In fact, the writers of this show and kind of the showrunners would say that there were Nintendo was actually fairly hands-off when it came to what this show looked like, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They basically just gave like a Bible explaining who the characters were and maybe showing sort of what they look like. But the writers themselves weren't gamers. So they pretty much just used that as a jumping off point and wrote whatever the hell they wanted with the rest of the actual story. I'm
just laughing at the show in my head now. I'm just thinking of moments of going like, I can't believe people sat down and wrote this.
You know what? I would believe you if you told me they didn't.
Yeah, that's the thing is I just couldn't imagine them sitting there like 3 a.m. like, yeah, that's good enough. Just write it down.
Yeah. To be fair, they did say that Lou Albano said that most of the actual recorded bits, the live action bits, were improvised. They had a central story of like, this is what's going to happen. Like an audience member would shout out at an improv store. And then they have these two, I guess you could say Lou Albano is kind of an improviser. I think wrestlers
I would say wrestling lends itself well to it. And throughout the show's history, wrestlers were a big part of the show.
Yes.
I need to remind you, in the second episode, it has Sergeant Slaughter. He is the guest star of it.
He is the guest star. Yes. What a great guest star. Yeah, so the live action bits, the structure of the show is episodes are animated stories which have been sandwiched by live action, essentially Abbott and Costello style segments hosted by Lou Albano and Danny Wells. This is where they would usually have someone
as Mario and Luigi.
As Mario and Luigi.
Yeah. It's just two guys. Did you like it?
I'm a wrestler.
I know Cyndi Lauper pretty well.
Well, the weird thing is, Lou Albano, there is an episode where he comes on as Lou Albano, and Mario's not in the episode.
Why?
Isn't that fucking weird?
They ran out of ideas. It was one season.
Follow me on this.
Yeah.
I think he showed up to set and forgot his costume. And they're like, what if I'm just Lou Albano?
Yeah, I just put on a flowered shirt and a captain's hat, and I'm Lou Albano.
It honestly, that's probably what it was. So yeah, they had to improvise most of the lines, which also makes sense as to why a lot of the jokes aren't really jokes and they just have a laugh track going. Like laugh tracks at the end of a non-joke, there's something horrifying about it.
It is. Yes, it's maniacal. Like it's just like, no one said anything funny and you're just like, what the fuck?
What is going on here?
Like if this was just everyday life and you heard a laugh track and you I don't know, you're crossing a street and you're, it's not my time to cross. And you heard a huge laughter, you'd be like, what the fuck?
What are some everyday things that would really be made creepy by laugh tracks?
You're eating something and it falls off your spoon.
I think that would kind of make sense though.
No, like it would people are like bullying you.
I mean, it would be creepy in the sense that no one should be laughing at me.
Right. There's no one there and I can hear someone that's not there.
But
Yeah. Okay.
I would think it would be something more like ominous, where like you said, like you go to cross the street and you don't, and people laugh and it's like, wait, am I about to get hit by a car? Like something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Or it's like you leave work after a night shift and you get into your car and then you hear like,
oh my
like,
God.
oh fuck, there's someone in the back seat, isn't there?
Yeah. Or you hear a knock on the door and you hear not the laugh track, but the other thing that live audience do.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, what the
My,
fuck is going
my
on
crush
here?
at the door?
Yeah, I did not remember, by the way, speaking of laugh tracks, as a kid, I didn't remember there being a laugh track in this, but I mean, I guess everything had one, so I
Guess.
whether
Yeah,
it did
they
or
were
not.
so common.
Yeah.
Now to the point that if you hear a laugh track in a show, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Young Sheldon,
Young
etc.
Sheldon, well, Big Bang Theory is a big one, right? Because it was watched by a lot of people, not
Yeah.
us. But the best part is watching Big Bang Theory with the pauses, without
the laugh track.
It seems insane.
That is as maniacal as
the opposite. Yeah.
No, I was talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. And they all, that's what it is. And they just stare at each other. And then they're like, oh, you're such a Worf.
But like, to be fair, that is probably how a group of people on the spectrum interact with each other on a day-to-day basis.
The pauses aren't weird to them.
It's just that they're just analyzing and waiting for the next thing to say. That's it. Yeah.
Like you can say that.
Yeah, of course I can. Of course I can.
Oh, God.
I turned down the role of the next love interest on Love on the Spectrum.
Did you?
They came to me. And
Yeah.
they were like, no, you're a little bit too unrelatable.
You describe, just find out street. Oh, wow.
Wow.
You are perfect for this. I didn't even say anything.
I'm sitting there like, there was a laugh track when I stepped into
Hi, I'm the casting director for Love on the Spectrum. Ooh.
Okay, so this was originally conceived as the show as the Super Mario Bros. Power Hour, which tells me what I think we should do at the end of this year when we do our next Power Hour.
Drink and watch this.
Yes, drink and watch this.
I'm taking extra sips. I'm like, good God, this sucks.
It was supposed to be more of a variety show featuring a variety of IPs. So Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Double Dragon.
That makes so much more sense.
Yes, yeah. The idea of this show was obviously to boost awareness around Nintendo characters. And that makes a ton of sense because like borrowing a page from like Ninja Turtles or Transformers or G.I. Joe.
Muppet Show.
Was Muppets to sell Muppets?
Well, like it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? But the idea that like a variety show style where people just walk on.
Yeah,
a celebrity's here and we're going to talk to them with characters.
No, but the idea was more, no, it wasn't characters talking to them. It was like, we'll have what we saw in this episode.
To sell toys.
Yes, to sell toys. It was like, it was to raise awareness about Nintendo characters and try to reach a new American audience.
I see.
They attempted to re-release it and they called it Club Mario, but in it, they removed the Lou Albano and Danny Wells portions and added like these other live action characters that were just like the Mario Club, and they were, but to me,
like Mickey Mouse Club.
Like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
To me, the best part of the show is the weirdness of Lou Albano and Danny Wells.
It is so strange.
Yes.
It is hard to summarize. I took so many cracks at writing down what I thought about this, and it's really hard to capture what they're doing.
It's like trying to find meaning and comedy in this show is like when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's dark and you think you might see a shadow in the corner of your room and your eyes are trying to adjust, like, what is that, a coat rack? Is it a person? And in your mind, you're just imagining all the things it might be, and it turns out there was nothing there.
Yeah.
And you're like, so what just happened right there?
Yeah, like it's the idea. Well, sorry, do you have more background before we get into the show, or do you want me to start?
A little bit, but we'll make your point.
I was just gonna say is that it's like broken telephone. And they're at the end of what the Super Mario Brothers are.
Yeah.
Because they're dressed in outfits that you could kind of think they're more like Times Square costume characters.
Very dirty.
Very dirty. They don't look anything like the characters.
No.
They're also 30 to 40 years older than they're supposed to be. Like Danny Weiss is like 60 years old.
Yeah.
And
he died like 6 years after this show aired.
Related?
Yeah, it was a plumbing incident.
That's the other thing. They're bad plumbers.
They're terrible plumbers.
And so it's like this idea of like, what are they promoting exactly? The idea that they say their names lots and they're wearing the right colors.
Yeah.
But short of that, it has nothing to do with the video games that people play.
Well, it's interesting because it came at the time when like this kind of background of what Mario is hasn't really been established. So when they're like dirty, slovenly plumbers, I'm like, I don't associate that with Mario at all, but there were no associations with Mario. He was like an 8-bit character on a screen. So this was their first attempt, or one of their first attempts, I guess, at like showing what a real version would be. And if you're a writer who hasn't played the video games and you're like, two plumbers from Brooklyn, you're probably going to draw something like this.
Yeah, okay, and I agree with you because they do in the first episode show the facade, the exterior of where the Mario Brothers plumbing services are. And the other one too is really important to know, like everyone goes like, I love Brooklyn. And you're like, yeah, you love Brooklyn in the last 10 years. Brooklyn was not like this in the 80s.
Yes. Yeah,
Brooklyn was like a shithole.
Yeah.
And so the idea that they live in this dilapidated apartment on this shitty street is a very much like, oh yeah, okay, this is supposed to be kind of shitty.
This is what Brooklyn was. This is not Sesame Street.
This is not Whole Foods. And then, we go to like the nearest bowling alley that costs you $200 a lane.
The last thing I want to say before we get into the actual beat by beat of this episode, the intro song, the Mario Brothers rap.
Yeah, yes.
Legit, I loved it.
It is fantastic. And if you like it, great. You're going to hear it 4 times an episode.
You're going to hear it a bunch in the episode.
It was composed by...
I'm so happy you're bringing this up.
Saban.
Yes.
Saban, who everyone might know that name. You go, why do I know that name? It's because that's the production company that was at the end of Power Rangers every episode.
This was the most amazing thing to me. And if you haven't, have you seen the Toys That Made Us?
Maybe not.
Episode of the Power Rangers?
Yeah.
It's basically like Ham Saban kind of like realized that there were these Japanese shows out there that had these wicked action sequences, and all you needed to do to bring them stateside was dub over the voices and film like these random, almost like Danny Wells and Lou Albano scenes.
Yes.
Like intersperse them, film like 5 minutes worth of content, and then have a bunch of fight scenes, and you can sell the Power Rangers. He brought the Power Rangers to being massive. He knew you could sell the toys, which again was kind of this thing. He brought it to the top. He sold it at its peak. The company that took over basically ran it into the ground. He bought it for a song, and then actually brought, like, he seems to be one of the most successful business people in the world, and he's a composer.
And he composed the music. And okay, by the way, if we ever want to do another one of these, could we do the Power Rangers movie and just do the Power Rangers movie as an episode?
Oh, sure.
I would love to do that. Not Secret of the Ooze. Let's start with the first one. And then
Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles?
No. What's the other one called with
Are you talking Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles?
No, I'm talking about Power Rangers, but there's a second one with Ivan Ooze, or is that the first one?
Oh,
whatever. We'll have to discuss this, but the Power Rangers movie I would love to do one day. The other thing is, so he composed the theme song that you hear all the time.
Yeah.
Did you read the same thing where the singers are unknown?
No, I didn't know that.
So it's in the Wikipedia article where they're like, it was composed by Ham Saban. The artists are unknown, and you're like, that cannot be true.
That can't be true.
It was just in the Super Mario Brothers movie that came out last year.
Yeah, true.
And it was like, you got to be paid for that. Like, who are they going like, well, no one just rips up the check.
Or maybe they didn't have writing credits. Maybe it was a contract.
Players.
Yeah, it could have been something like that. Oscar Isaac in Inside Llewyn Davis. He wants payment for that day and immediately. So he signs his name as a contract player. The song goes bonkers off the wall. Justin Timberlake's making a lot of money off of it. Yeah. Adam Driver's making a lot of money off of it. Oscar Isaac, he made his $200 and that's it. He's listening to it at parties. Everyone is there saying, please, Mr. Kennedy, this is the next big song. Oh my God, anyone who must have recorded on this, they're going to be set for life. This motherfucker's got holes in his gloves still. He's walking around losing the cats of the people whose house he's at the party. He's bringing fake cats home to them. They know the difference immediately because they know Ulysses, their cat. They know that Ulysses acts a certain way. Meanwhile, Oscar Isaac is here bumming around New York, sleeping on couches, talking shit about Adam Driver, even though Adam Driver's a good dude, sleeping on his couch, talking shit behind his back. And instead of just taking credit on this song, he just takes cash thinking he's pulling one over on the production company, fucks himself over out of a whole bunch of different money. All this because he's sad because he recorded a really popular song with Marcus Mumford, who wasn't Marcus Mumford, but they were recording songs together. His friend died and now all of a sudden he wants to... Like,
yeah, no, I get it. So it might have been Llewyn Davis, you're saying?
Yeah, just like him.
Yeah. It's impossible that it was, oh my God. Sorry. Mikey's favorite movie of all time.
Second favorite.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Honestly?
This one?
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood is your favorite movie of all time?
It moved up there.
Interesting. Wow,
yeah.
That's
There Will Be Blood, number 1.
Yep.
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yep.
Number 2.
Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Bros. Number 69, baby.
You love that movie, so I just wanted to let you just go off and say everything you knew about Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah. Oh, I know a lot more.
You're inside Llewyn Davis.
I am inside. It's like being John Malkovich. When I start talking about it, everyone's just Llewyn Davis.
So that can't be true that we don't know who they are though. Like I have to imagine that this is, I don't know, whatever, because that song fucking rocks.
It's so good.
It's the best part of the show.
The music in general in this show is very, very good.
We'll get to sounds in a second, but
music, I'm very curious.
Music for sure.
Okay, so let's enter season 1, episode 1, The Bird.
Oh,
That's what we're calling it. It's written by Reed and Bruce Shelley. They're either married writing partners,
siblings.
or the Reed brothers,
Oh yeah.
because it's Reed and Bruce Shelley, but you're
Oh
calling
yeah.
them by the
But
the first name of one of them.
yeah.
Just like Mario and Luigi. One of the first very obvious things is that they clearly call themselves the Mario brothers.
Yes.
And Danny Wells
Danny Wells.
sounds like a soccer player.
Does it sound like a soccer player? Yeah.
Yeah.
He also sounds like a 40s movie star, like he's in White Christmas.
White
Danny
Christmas.
Wells.
White Christmas.
Christmas. Happy Christmas, everyone. Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Chrysler.
This episode is featuring Nicole Eggert
From Baywatch.
Oh, is that where she's from?
Yeah.
I didn't know where she was from.
Yeah, I assumed.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
think I recognize the name. So
Yeah.
I think it was from Baywatch.
You mentioned Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson is on the show at one point.
Yeah.
Vanna White is on the show at some point.
Do you know also who plays a bit part? Patrick Dempsey from Grey's Anatomy plays like Super Plant or something like that. I was looking up the cast
Wait,
list.
Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, he was McCarty or whatever the fuck it was from Grey's Anatomy.
I thought, isn't Patrick Dempsey a basketball player?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing here right now?
I know,
What is this?
are you positive?
Dude, you don't know what you're talking about.
I thought Patrick Dempsey was a...
Everyone listening at home, Patrick Dempsey, now race car driver, former actor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a big race car driver.
Good
guy.
for him.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like Michael Fassbender. It's like you make a bunch of money, you're like, yeah, I've done this movie thing.
Yeah, but Dempsey isn't a name that lends itself to racing as well as Fassbender.
Because Fast is in it.
Yeah, fast. When you're going that fast, you don't have time for a T, Andrew.
Yeah, if it's Patrick.
You don't have time for T,
Okay.
so it's just fast.
What are you doing right now?
No, but that's good.
That's good. Oh, that's good. Okay, good. Yeah, if he's Patrick Dumpster or something like that, you're like, whoa, that's
No.
that'd be slow.
So the intro, we get the intro to this show, and it's the Mario face, very much akin to the Mario face we get at Mario 64.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's much more cherubic, like round-like. And
Yes.
except this is where you start to see that everything is just kind of 1 degree off.
Uh-huh.
Where the character that you saw the face of, you're like, look over Mikey's shoulder right now, right?
If you're watching on YouTube, yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube. That's the Mario we know, right?
Yeah.
And you just start to see stuff, and it looks hand-drawn. It looks like a kid drew it. And you're
Yes.
like, huh, okay. And then outstep these two oafs in fucking rental costumes that you're like, well, who the fuck are these two? If they didn't say their names, you'd have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and it feels...
Danny Wells looks like Vincent Price.
He looks so much like Vincent Price in
Hello.
this. You know who Lou Albano looks like?
Who?
Fucking Lou Albano dressed as Mario.
A famous wrestler.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Coming out with one of the most offensive accents ever. Until I looked up that Lou Albano was born in Rome.
Was he really?
Yes, he's Italian.
That's amazing.
So when you're like,
He can get away with so much now.
oh, 100%. Really, it's like, my cousin and all this kind of stuff. You're like, oh God, this is gross. You're like, oh, he's Italian? Oh, well.
He probably
There
has
you go.
writing credits on this now. He's like, you know what I should say right now? Something about spaghetti and then call him paisan. This is good.
Yeah.
We get this live action scene. It's obviously before the animated portion. Why does it look like it was filmed on a Sony Ericsson? Like the quality is so low. And when you were watching it on YouTube, I'm sure you thought, well, the resolution just isn't great because it's a reproduction or whatever.
Right.
Even on Prime, it is very low res. It's not good.
It's shot on a set. It should be lit much better than it actually
Yes.
is. You just kind of don't understand. But it's also, and they're like, it's a 3-camera setup. Like they're cutting from like a one general
Yes.
wide shot to like individual shots. It's like there's somebody has their hand on the button that's doing stuff, and it still looks like garbage.
It looks terrible, but it looks like people who have never made TV watched TV and were like, okay, I think I got this.
This is
Let
what
me
I'm
try.
saying about the Eastern European knockoff.
Yes,
thing.
yes.
It just feels like, well, we got most of it here. Yeah. And so they come out and introduce themselves.
Yes, they do. Yeah, it's the Eastern European thing is like you have clothes with an Adidas logo, but it's missing an S or something like that. It's like Adidas.
It's 4 stripes.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like,
That's
it's
exactly
close.
what it
I
is.
get what
That's
they're going
exactly
for.
what it is. They come out, and I had this question because you get Lou Albano and you get Danny Wells, and they're making jokes about spaghettis, and they're calling each other paisan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm wondering at this point, is this offensive to Italians? Is it offensive to plumbers, or is it more offensive to gamers? Like no one benefits from these portrayals of these characters.
I forget what their bit was in the beginning,
Uh-huh.
but they're on each other's cases. They're very antagonistic towards each other.
Yes.
Right?
As brothers are.
Which
it turns out is canonically true because the Super Mario Bros. I was like, why are these guys so rude and mean and obsessed with food? They are in the Super Mario Bros. Movie that just came out too. So they got something right.
Yeah. So they hear a knock. Okay, this is where you got to help me here. They hear
I know what you're gonna say.
they hear a knock on their medicine cabinet,
Yes.
which is where they keep their toothbrush and stuff above their sink, whatever. And they open it up, and on the other side is a face of Nicole Eggert, the guest star of the episode. And I thought, since this is the first episode, is she in the mirror? Is she like...
I thought she was like a Zoran type character.
Yeah, like she's going to give them missions or something like that. Or maybe she's Princess Peach from another universe or something. I don't know, whatever. And they're talking to her for half a second, and she goes, well, something's broken. I need some plumbing help. And they go, oh, we'll come to the front door. So I'm to understand that their medicine cabinet opens to the street?
And if it does, their toothpaste is within reach. She's back there. She's like, they're like, what are you doing back there? And she says, I'm checking the expiration date on your toothpaste.
Right.
That's normal. Right. Or that's important, you know? And everyone laughs. I was like, isn't it?
So the idea is that they have terrible dental hygiene because they don't brush their teeth because it would expire before they've gone through a tube.
I think so.
Right. And
but this whole thing like
opens to the street.
Opens to the street, and I also assume she lives in the mirror, and I'm like, that's a weird premise.
Yeah.
But the fact that she doesn't ended up being weirder, because then what is she doing back there? How is she there before the door?
Yeah, like, why is there not a wall? Why is the street open to their, like, so do they open it like a window and like look out and like, whatever?
In the writer's room, do people ask this question?
Yeah, that's a very generous idea.
Yeah.
They had 8 staff write. Well, it was the 80s. I don't know. It was a good time to write. But
true. But like, is anyone questioning this? And they're like, don't worry about it. Is anyone thinking like, maybe it's just like, we got 10 minutes to write this. Yeah. We got 10 minutes to write this 30-minute show.
They realized very quickly they didn't have a mirror or a window out to the street.
Yeah.
So like, we'll just knock out the back end of the medicine cabinet that some prop designer put on the wall and had to fill. Like, it's just a bananas idea. Yeah. And then so she gets to the front door, gets accepted into their office where they also live, clearly. Yes. And she has, I forget what is broken. But
it's just, I think it's just pipes or something. Yeah. She didn't bring anything there. She's just like, hey guys, I need some help. And she's like, let us prove to you how good we are. And she's like, we're good.
I'm giving you business.
I'm giving you business.
I've heard you're the best, because she shows a big newspaper.
Yes.
That on the front page, because you know how well, now this is a true thing. But back in the day, a hilarious idea would be, what if they just ran a huge advertisement on the front page?
Yeah.
Now we do get that.
Now you definitely do get that.
Because newspapers are dying.
They're looking for ways to fill space.
Yes. But it says Super Mario Brothers, best in town.
Best in town. And but they apparently forgot that they had run that in the first place. I guess she couldn't find them in the yellow pages because Lou Albano had torn up all of their phone books. I don't know.
Do you want me to show you? Dad just rips it in half.
But instead of showing how he can rip in half a phone book, they immediately start like jockeying for the job. Like, let us prove how good we are. There's a sink that's just in the middle of their room.
Right. That is broken.
That's broken.
In the plumbing office. The irony is just...
Is brilliant in a way.
Like, it really works. We keep this as an example. It's like the show model.
Yes.
But
the thing is like no, the floor model's Vanna White. She comes in a different episode. It's broken. You know how like the big TikTok trend is like, I don't know, you get these comedy now is like really random things where someone's like food's ready, and they open the microwave and it's just like a bunch of like bowling balls, and they're like, it's time to go for a walk, and there's just like on their like it's a bunch of non sequiturs.
Spaghetti's ready, and he opens up the Tupperware container, and it's a man's face covered in spaghetti.
Exactly. Yes, and then that type of weird non sequitur humor that's going on right now is pretty much what this is. Like, you would have to try to write something that was as weird as this, and we're 3 minutes in. Like, the fact that she sees their advertisement in a newspaper, is at their door behind a medicine cabinet. They're fixing a sink that is just in the middle of their apartment that is clogged as plumbers. Like, it is kind of genius, like in a weird way.
It would be, it's kind of in the way that modern art gets made fun of a lot. But
yes.
You couldn't replicate what they're doing.
No.
The idea is that it seems
to
very simple to replicate, but
yes.
It's actually quite impossible because of the sequence of things that they're doing. It is like if they chose a script by pulling words out of a bag.
Yes.
There is a lot of like element of, my player one was sitting, I was like, you should watch this with me. It's good the last 22 minutes.
You asshole.
And she got 3 minutes in, she goes, this is hurting my head, and she leaves. She goes, I'm getting a headache because of the show. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I felt like my vision was blurry the whole time, and it wasn't just the resolution. It was
all the credit in the world to Captain Lou Albano
Uh-huh.
and Denny Wells they're not winking at the camera. They are trying.
It is not their fault.
No, it is absolutely not their fault. Well, it might be partially because they're improvising the scenes.
Yeah.
But it's not, they're not intentionally trying to make it bad. They are giving it everything they have.
Yeah, you're right. The not winking to the camera, if they did, it wouldn't work.
It would not work at all.
I mean, it doesn't work, but it would not work even more.
I also just want to say, so if you're watching on YouTube, Mikey has a mustache, right?
I do. Yes.
Mikey has a very Mario style mustache.
Yes.
Where it's, a push broom mustache, but it's trimmed and it looks like whatever it is. Captain Lou Albano has a handlebar mustache that you could like zip line off of.
Yeah.
And then Danny Wells has a what we said with Vincent Price, he has a waxed tips pointed mustache that comes out like an evil villain that would tie someone to like a railroad track.
Yes.
And yet both have mustaches. So you're like, well, they have mustaches, but not right mustaches.
They're not right. Like you said, it's the fourth Adidas stripe that is prevalent throughout this whole thing. His mustache is like what Waluigi's mustache should be. So something more like that.
Yeah.
Actually,
like Wild Bill Hickok or something like a cowboy from the West.
Yeah. So my note at this point, while they're trying to unclog the sink and it's making Mario sound effects and it ends up spraying Nicole Eggert in the face and she's soaking wet, was, does this have anything to do with the rest of the episode? I had no idea. I didn't know where we were. I didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know how they were going to transition into the animated portion,
which they've already teased because you've seen parts of it in the intro.
Yeah.
The other thing that we need to establish too is that, so you hear that theme song, and then every time Mario or Luigi do anything, step, move or anything, it's a sound effect from the game is played immediately. And one of the things that works so well in the Mario games is that the sound and visual cues together are so pleasing that you're like, I could play this forever.
Yes.
Out of context, these are the singularly most annoying fucking noises in the world. Every time it's like bling, bling.
Did you find that in the animated portion too, though, or just the?
No, just in the live.
That makes sense because in the live stuff it did not work. But
it's distracting.
In the animated stuff, I really liked the sound mixing. In the live action stuff, like not just the sound effects themselves, but the volume of the music was so fucking loud, and I couldn't hear Captain Lou Albano talk. Like he doesn't have a soft voice. It was just like I struggled to hear what anyone was saying, to understand what was going on. It was like I understand why your player one left. Like it was a headache, like just a headache.
Like, oh my god, my head hurts.
I was 2 eye clips away from feeling like it was Clockwork Orange. Like I was gonna psychologically never be the same if I finished this episode.
Poor Nicole Eggert.
Shows up to set.
We'll get into that later too. But like she's trying to like, no guys, like I really want to pay you for your services, and all they do is just fuck things up left and right and go like, we're terrible plumbers. She goes, I still pay you.
And spray her with water. And then this whole thing of like, is this related to the rest of the episode? No. It's not. We get this weird sequence where it shows Mario and Luigi, unrelated to Nicole Eggert, unclogging a bathtub and then getting sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom.
And that's how they introduce the idea that they're going to be in the animated series. I will also say Nicole Eggert, those two gentlemen are large people.
They're big boys.
Captain Lou Albano is a professional wrestler billed at 350 pounds. But I think he's only like 6 feet tall.
Oh.
And then Danny Wells, also probably 6'1", 6'2", or something like that. Nicole Eggert must be 5'1".
She's very tiny.
And I just laughed so much that she is wearing like high top kicks and like
dirty Reeboks.
Reeboks and like dress pants and a t-shirt tucked in, and I'm like, man, fashion is so cyclical.
Yes.
That is exactly how my player one dressed. She dressed like that the night before, and I'm
that's
like, man,
so
that
funny.
it is
very cyclical. It's she didn't look bad, and I think it's just because we are used to seeing that nowadays.
Didn't look bad.
Okay, so we find ourselves now. We get the title card. It is of the animated portion. We get Mario, Luigi, and Toad pulling Princess Peach through the Arctic like slaves.
Okay,
like this is not the version of Princess Peach that we have come to know.
No.
Like she is a princess, but she's not like no one's doting on her really.
No.
And you get Birdo, where Birdo, who is from Super Mario Bros. 2. Keeps flying around, bumping into things, and eventually just takes Toad, just picks up Toad and steals him.
Birdo, in this case, which we've talked about always as being an icon of
trans identity,
living both identities in the single life, and that being an established part of the canon. We've always said that's really good. In this part of Birdo's life, it is an elder woman,
an elderly woman,
a grandmother type character.
Yes,
yeah.
They have not addressed the what she has become, or they have become completely known for.
Yes.
in their canon Birdos. Instead, like a not just an elderly woman, like a very incompetent, senile
yes,
elderly woman.
That's what I was going to say.
Picks up Toad because Birdo thinks that Toad is their kid.
Yes.
Which you end up finding a little bit later. Which
she does have a kid.
She does have.
She does have a baby. She doesn't look anything.
Doesn't look anything like her.
the mushroom.
Look, oh yeah, no. Oh, like Toad.
Yeah.
No.
So like, what? How is this being confused?
The strangest part about it. So they establish the fact that she has poor eyesight.
She's wearing big round glasses. And she's running into things, and she's so she clearly can't see much. But she has Toad, who sounds like he's voiced by Bobby Kelly. Like it's a terrible voice, and is pleading, is saying, "I am not your child." So when I see Toad once again over, over Mikey's shoulder on the other side. When I see Toad, over further. There we go. Yeah, nice.
There we go.
An adorable creature.
Yeah.
Right. And before that they spoke any lines, I was like, look at how cute this little, once again, childlike wonder. Like he's so excited.
Yeah.
It has been everyone's absolute rule that they've stuck to make this little adorable thing as monstrous as humanly possible. Every time they have to voice Toad in anything, he's like, "Wah!
Yeah.
Wah!"
What is that about?
What is wrong with this fucking thing? Even in the new movie, he's like a psychopath.
He is, but I don't like. So maybe the Super Mario Bros. Maybe the Super Show got a lot more right than we expected.
Yeah.
Like there's the obsession with the food, the dirty plumber bit, the angry family dynamic, the Toad being an absolute gremlin.
Yes, it's a gremlin. That's
correct.
That is a very good way of putting it. Do you want to talk about the animation before we get into the story?
Sure, let's talk about the animation. Yeah.
Once again, just a couple of shades off where you're like, they're the wrong shape.
Yes. Very Saturday morning cartoon of the era.
Totally. Princess Peach has got some kind of weird cape, like a Robin Hood type thing.
Yeah.
King Koopa is the big issue. And his companions and followers are all green. They're completely green.
Just turtles. They are just turtles.
They're turtles, and them walking around with like long feet is very disturbing.
It's the proportions of the animators of the animated characters that is throwing me off. Especially like King Koopa being tall and slender.
Yes,
is terrifying.
Kind of in shape.
Yeah,
like he's got like a runner's build.
Yeah, it's not a Captain Lou Albano.
No, he should kind of be. Captain Lou Albano should have been King Koopa.
Should have been King Koopa, yeah.
The other one I wanted to say was, oh my God, King Koopa's voice. You need to apologize to Jack Black now. And
I do personally.
Yes. Because you didn't like Jack Black.
I didn't. I think I've come around on that. I think Jack Black as Bowser, I think it was just hard for me to wrap my head around, but I think he ultimately did a good job with it.
Have you seen the Borderlands trailer?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So Jack Black plays Claptrap. And very obviously, isn't
it funny before you say this, how Jack Black is getting as many roles as Chris Pratt, and we love Jack Black.
I think Jack Black has earned a lot of just good nature stuff. He releases videos all the time where he just seems to be like
the best guy,
like just loving himself, right? Like just like look
in a Speedo.
Yeah, in a Speedo. I am in the shape I'm in. I don't care. I have a weird gray beard. No one cares. And I also am just freakishly talented. He's got that Chris Farley thing where he does like a cartwheel in nowhere, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And then also can just wail on a guitar, and you're like, God, that's so good. You're right. Claptrap was one of the first ones where supposedly he went to them and he's like, I love these games.
Oh, amazing.
I want to be in them. And they're like, do you want to be Claptrap? He's like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I can record from home and make $2 million. But for some reason, and it might be just the trailer, but he's just like, you're like, kiss my ass or something like that. And you're like, okay, all right.
It didn't sound like Jack Black. When I saw the trailer, I didn't know that it was him.
Yeah, I just thought it was too, I don't know, whatever.
But there's something. You got to get somewhere in the middle between what Borderlands is doing and what Mario is doing. Where Borderlands is taking itself so seriously, like almost too source materially.
It's like too literal, right?
Yes.
One to one.
Whereas this is too different from it, like Mario is.
I don't even know what this is.
I don't know. I don't know what it's trying to be, who it's for.
Yeah.
There's also this weird moment where, like you mentioned, King Koopa, not as Bowser, but as King Koopa, and his turtle army, not as Koopa army.
No.
And at one point, Mario's like, we got to get out of the Arctic because the polar bears will kill us.
Yeah. So, whoa.
What?
What? Huh?
Could you imagine polar bears in Mario?
Captain Cook's ship. You're like, wait, is this a real world?
Yes.
Like, there was another point where they're having to go to the castle because Birdo seems to be like on the top of that.
Yes.
And through that, they need to get to the castle. That's why King Koopa's involved. Sure. And there's two all white, like snow trooper type
what
things.
What are those things?
I don't know. They're very scary.
I thought they were boos at first.
I thought they were ghosts.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they're just all white and they have little black eyes.
Yeah.
And they have like little binoculars and they're like, all right, we can go get them. And you're just like, so they're military or what are we doing here? Like, they're like, I can take the shots. Like, don't do it. King Koopa needs to get him alive. And
It's
you're
also
like,
like the story they describe is that Mario and Peach and Luigi are trying to save the kingdom from King Koopa, but King Koopa is hunting them.
yes.
So what is their role? What are they doing in the
It's
Arctic?
like it's like two dogs circling a tree trying to catch each other.
Exactly.
But, you know, like, or like a Scooby-Doo down through the hallway kind of thing.
But like drawn as a dog that's too thin.
Its legs are weirdly muscular and long like humans. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, I didn't understand how they're involved. Also, oh yeah, okay. What do you want to go through the story of the cartoon?
We're
sorry.
after Birdo captures Toad, we get these moments of like some introductions of Mario and Luigi and how Mario's scared Luigi's scared of mountains for some reason and they're making their way. The most terrifying though scene of this entire episode was the Birdo Toad scene, because once it becomes clear that no matter what this fully grown Toad is telling Birdo, Birdo has this motherly energy that is giving Kathy Bates from Misery.
Oh yeah.
And it's really terrifying.
It's very scary.
In that, if you were in a situation where you woke up and someone is like, you're my son, and you're like, lady, I'm not your son, I don't know you, and she's like, that's exactly what my son would say.
Yeah, classic son.
I would start to question myself.
Uh-huh.
I would be like, when is the breastfeeding? I don't know. Is this part of it? Is this part of the deal?
What was that movie we liked from 2 years ago? Justin Long.
Oh, Barbarian. Yes.
Kind of like that.
Yes.
Creepy monster in the basement that's breastfeeding everybody.
100%.
Like,
But it's even creepier because the motherly nature is so sincere.
Yeah.
That would scare me even more, where I'm like, am I wrong? Am I the wrong one?
Yeah. She just seems to love me. What's my problem?
Exactly. Yeah. So as we're kind of bouncing back and forth between Birdo and Toad and Mario, Luigi, and Peach, giving us some moments of them like jumping over cracks in the mountain where you get all the Mario sound effects. And this is where I think the sound effects really work. And this is also where I think the music really works, because all the music that you get are songs from Mario of this era, remixed with a little bit of like drum and bass, like a little bit of hip hop introduced to it. And I think that actually works well. Did that grate on you at all? Or did you like
that felt a little bit more natural because in an animated state, I'm much more familiar with Mario.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the world around it. So that didn't drive me crazy.
Yeah.
What did drive me crazy is in the intro, Mario touches a star and is turned into his red and white uniform.
That's so weird.
And I was like, what the fuck? That's like the most basic shit in the world. How did this get past somebody?
I noticed that, and that felt like the one thing. I bet you Miyamoto like killed someone over there.
Honestly, he probably threw a desk through a window.
Yes, exactly. Especially because later on in the episode, which we'll talk about in a bit, there's an avalanche and they get stuck in a cave, and in order to get out, they do eat a fire flower, and then Mario turns the same color, the flame color. It's really weird. It could have been that it's really hard to animate the same effects
the flashing
of the star. Yeah.
I was thinking that. I also found that to be very annoying because Princess Peach is like, well, if you eat that flower, you're going to turn into a fire Mario.
Yeah.
How does she know that and he doesn't?
That's a great point. Well, maybe he just got to the
yes, but when she eat the flower then?
Yeah, is it just that only he can handle the...
And then how does she know that? She just met this man.
That's a great point, because if it only works on him...
I know you. I know everything about you.
Yes.
And it's like, why? You know, like,
what if I said to you, I'm like, Andrew, if you eat that pasta, you'll turn into Super Andrew.
I'd eat that pasta.
It has salmonella.
Ooh.
Yeah. You're going to be Pooper Andrew.
Just me in a hospital bed, white as a ghost, 30 pounds down going, I'm Super Andrew. I did it.
White as a snowball ghost with binoculars. It's like, we found him.
We found out.
Like, that's a hallucination. It's
Captain Lou Albano. It's like, God, the nurses just complain about this guy that won't stop talking.
We get the scene where
Danny Wells is Luigi. The fuck?
Wouldn't it be terrifying if you came to record this episode?
Yeah.
And I was like, and you start to talk about this, and I was like, what? That's not what I watched. And then you go back and realize it didn't actually exist.
Yeah, it all was a made up dream that I had.
Yeah.
Okay, the funniest part is I watched episode 1 and we originally were like, do we do 2 episodes? What do we do? And so I kind of got a little bit into episode 2 and I was like, okay, good. We're only going to do 1. And then I had to go back and go, oh God, was that the first episode or did I just watch an episode? Because I was watching on YouTube and I'm like, oh, did I just watch about 5?
Oh yeah.
And I had to go back and thank God it was episode 1.
Thank God it was the first one.
But I was kind of like, fucking hell, I got to
that would
watch
have
this
sucked.
again.
Yeah. It was a long 25 minutes to watch this one.
Boy, was it.
Except for this moment, the funniest moment of the episode, when the 2 snowball ghosts go back to Bowser and they're like, we found them. We know where they are. And he's like, thank God you finally did your job.
Thank God.
Like very,
I'm King Koopa.
I'm King Koopa.
And I'm going to kill that little Italian.
I'm going to crush him with my skull. Yes. The immigrants of the Mushroom Kingdom.
That's why I'm saying we need to build walls. I'm King Koopa.
Stop the pipes. The flow of immigrants into the Mushroom Kingdom must be stopped.
Yeah, you almost just, it's so hard not to do a Trump too, but just like going like, yeah, like they're all on mushrooms and it's disgusting. And
he says he's super. He says he's Super Mario. I'm super. I don't need a flower. No flowers. I'm a superstar. Flashing like the lights. His gay brother with his mustache. Italians.
Some say gay. I don't say it. Some do.
First the Italians, then the Mexicans.
Yours is really good.
Oh, thank you.
That's really good.
I've had enough time to
you
practice.
Do impressions of Donald Trump just like casually?
Just to myself.
I just recite all his
One day I'll
speeches.
do this on the podcast. I recite his speeches through teary eyes, saluting
fully erect.
So these ghosts, they're kind of like tryhards, and Bowser's like, stop trying so hard. He says, when I want my feet licked, I'll say I want my feet licked. Now I want my feet licked. And they go to town on his feet. There are sound effects of like
he's just like
for the rest of the scene.
Fuck yeah.
If that's not sexual, what is it?
I'm not sure. It's a show of obedience, I guess, or submissive attitude.
Maybe.
Oh no, I don't believe what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. This also, once again, feels like it was written by a European writing team because you're like, is this a thing? I don't know. Is this a thing?
Do we lick feet? We don't lick feet.
Is that a thing?
At this point, how much of the show do you remember?
After this, well, I know he gets the flower.
No, I mean, like, do you like it from when you watched it as a kid?
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
No, this is not the show that I remember. I remember the cartoons and I remember them enough that like it was. Even as a kid, I remember them being like, well, they're not like the game.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So
it wasn't close enough to be enjoyable. Like I didn't love this show as a kid, except that it was like, oh, it's cool. Mario's on TV. But
yeah,
even as a kid, I didn't quite make the connection between the game that I played and whatever this was.
Whatever this is.
So we go to Toad's getting flying lessons from Birdo, which is funny. A mom who's willing to drop his or her kid and just hope that they fly.
This is probably why they lost the first child. Like why they lost him in the first place. Because the threat was with Toad kind of like, well, I guess I'm stuck here. And it's like, time for your flying lessons. And he's like, oh no.
100%. And it gives us this moment because we see Toad get taken away and then we get a ba-bomb scene with Mario. And this is what causes the avalanche that we talked about later. So we don't have to touch on that. But the ba-bombs are also very creepy. Their arms they're very much more human, right?
Yes.
Their arms are drawn as like Mickey Mouse hands with full feet, and they walk with a gusto. They're not like the ambling ba-bombs that are kind of like wind them up and let them go.
Yeah.
Like they're more with a purpose, which is way more terrifying.
No, it I did like Ba-Bomb. I like that they stuck with the naming and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, that made me happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, it's a nod. And that's what gets them trapped in the cave. And the only other thing I want to say about them being trapped in the cave and Mario getting the fire flower is if you're Luigi in this situation, you're 70 years old. You've known your brother for 65 of those years. He's worn the same outfit probably his entire life.
Smells like hell.
Yes, just terrible. Just never showers. Let's pretend you and I are in that situation.
Uh-huh. That's
and
right.
I eat a fire flower.
Yeah.
What would be weirder to you? We're talking, I eat a flower and all of a sudden my clothes change to a different color.
That'd be very weird.
It would be very weird. And you'd be like, this is outstanding. I don't know how we found ourselves in this situation.
I'm not going to eat that.
But then I start to shoot fire from my fingertips. But at that point, you've already seen my clothes magically change.
Yeah. And the princess of this land has told me that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, it's all going for expectation.
So would you say like she's like, you're going to turn into a Super Mario and then I eat the flower and you're like, you didn't say anything about the fucking clothes changing.
Yeah.
Is
that the weirdest part?
Well,
I'm kind of known for this outfit.
Yeah.
This is bad that I'm changing my brand.
I ever going to get this back? Because I didn't bleach these clothes. So they find Cheapy, which is Birdo's kid, frozen in ice.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was hard to hear. It was really hard to hear.
He just kept going like, "Shut up, Cheapy," and I'm like, "What is she saying?"
Well, the intro to Cheapy is actually kind of funny because Mario says something about like paying $3 for a pasta or something, and it's like fine, and then Cheapy cheeps like chirps. He's like cheap,
yeah.
And then Mario's like, "Who said that? I'd buy it for $4 or something like that." Like there were a couple moments in that like old vaudevillian style humor that I did like, but that's not humor for children.
No, but it's so funny how much of the children's stuff we love, like Looney Tunes or the Muppets, is vaudevillian.
Yeah,
like
that's
it
true.
is very much slapstick, and then I tell a joke, and and that's what it is. And in this one, humor is a reach. It's almost like a blind squirrel finding a nut kind of thing. You're almost more shocked when there is a punchline.
Yeah,
you're
it's like,
oh
shit, that one actually worked.
There was actually a joke there.
The laugh track was proper time. We're going to move through some of the beats a little quickly here. We get Toad on his flying lessons. Canonically, there's always been this question about Toad.
Yeah.
Is his head part, like, is the red and white part, is it part of his head?
Or is it a hat?
Right. They very clearly show you it is a hat.
Yes.
He uses it as a parachute as he gets dropped, and it is even more terrifying than I would have expected.
Well, or the other thing is, like, if we were falling and I ripped the scalp off my head and used it as a parachute. Desperate times.
You would have saved my life, and I would have been like, we can't speak anymore, though.
I'd be like, thank God we're alive, and just blood is coursing down my face.
You'd be like, give me a hug, and I'm like,
no, I don't know. You don't look that good. You know?
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for saving my life. I think you're going to die.
I'm pretty sure you're not making it out of here. He lands directly, conveniently, on Mario and Luigi. Very convenient.
Yes.
They were taken all around the Arctic of the Mushroom Kingdom and managed to find their way directly back to them. Koopa is on his way to them in a snowmobile. Koopa's got a snowmobile.
Yeah, there's a couple funny visuals. There's a dinosaur riding a motorized vehicle, which, like, that's like if Jurassic Park, if Blue the Velociraptor learned to ride a motorcycle. and then behind him is just all his lizard companions. They're not Koopa Troopers.
No.
Lizard companions running behind him.
Which must be a slow snowmobile.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's got to be a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Also, though, like, Bowser on a snowmobile, like, that should be a Sly unlockable vehicle in Mario Kart.
Yes.
Would be amazing.
Yeah.
Just what a good homage to that.
That sounds like one of those, like, drawing games, like Pictionary or something like that. Like, Bowser on a snowmobile. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, very weird. And then, so he's coming after them.
He's coming after them, and he's stopped very quickly by turnips being thrown by Birdo.
Yeah, turnips, again, being a huge part of the early Mario games.
A part, like, the era of Mario that was never my era. Like, I remember them, but for me, my best memories and most significant memories of Mario are Super Mario World. So the turnips were more 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about
and
right.
Or I guess it would have had to have been 2 because this is only focused around Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2. But a couple turnips to the head, and King Koopa is out.
Oh, he's like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Mario
out of here. Can spit fire from his fingertips. This guy's like, sees 2 guys get knocked unconscious by turnips falling out of a bag, like a burlap sack from Birdo and Toad. And he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, we need to get out of here. The funniest part is he just rode a motorized vehicle. There's probably guns in this world now. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, turnips.
There's guns, polar bears. You can basically recreate the Lost if you want. There's smoke monsters somewhere. I can imagine that. They were dead this whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how the show ended. I don't even know. I never finished it.
Never finished what?
Lost.
Super Mario? Oh, Lost. Mario. Super Mario, they've been dead the whole time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I want to say I don't mind the end of Lost. And I know this makes it very controversial. I think it's an overstatement to go like, they're dead the whole time. It's like, well, that's actually not true.
I think the reason people were upset is that was like the first theory.
Yeah, like, oh, they're dead. Yeah.
It
is not essentially true. And I don't want to really fully explain it just in case anyone's going to watch it, because I really do recommend it. I liked Lost a lot. So anyway, there's my soapbox I'm standing on.
Won't do it. I won't watch it.
Yeah, you don't like finishing things.
Andrew, I've been finishing tons of things lately.
Finish Dexter.
It seems like an hour of my time.
Did we talk about this? He watched every episode until the series finale.
Yeah, like the first 6 seasons, I watched literally every episode except the last one. It just wasn't worth my time. It wasn't worth my time. It got really bad.
Oh yeah, I agree. But season 4 you quit, not season 6.99.
But you got to quit at some point. And
when the show's over.
No, I chose to.
That is
in my mind, maybe it ended perfectly.
honest to fucking God. I hope you never kill someone and you're on trial, because if someone will bring that up in front of the jury, people are like, ooh, and they're all writing stuff down immediately. He watched every episode until the series finale. Went, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I did I miss out on much?
No, I quit after season 3.
Oh, okay.
After the Trinity Killer.
That was
Lithgow.
You quit at the right time.
It was the
That was the
best.
best. That was the best.
John Lithgow. Who is upset to see John Lithgow show up?
He's the best in everything.
He's the best.
He's so good.
Oh man, I love that guy.
So we get this big hero turn for Birdo. Obviously, she goes from being like
Kathy Bates Misery.
Kathy Bates from Misery to cooking them a worm, a meal.
This was the punchline joke at the end.
To end the whole animated
to end the whole thing.
episode.
They're all having a meal. They're breaking bread and forgiving all that has happened.
Yes.
As a way of saying, thank you for doing this. Oh, and Mario goes, oh, it's pasta. I love pasta.
Yeah.
That is so great. And he takes one look at it, and it's a worm.
It is a worm.
And somebody says it's a worm.
Yes.
And then the worm looks at him. And he says some, do you have it written down or no?
Yeah, he says, spaghetti, we're worms. I've never been so insulted in my life.
And then it does a Porky Pig style zero, like black hole onto the spotlight, onto the worm. And that's it.
That's it.
I'm a worm. I've never been more insulted in my life.
Yes. Insulted because Mario won't eat him.
Because he won't. I want to be eaten. I'd love to be sacrificed.
Yes.
He's almost like a John Lovitz type character.
He is.
Why? I've never been more insulted in my life. I'm John Lovitz.
Here's the thing we haven't touched on though, Andrew.
Not bad.
He's referring to, no, it is a good. I've already complimented your John Lovitz before.
Thank you. It stinks.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Very few times in my life have I heard anyone refer to themselves as the royal we. This worm does.
Yeah.
This worm considers itself royalty and wants to be eaten. I'm very
much.
interested in what the story of this species is. Is it a parasite? Is it the kind of thing that like you eat it and then it convinces you to commit suicide so that it can bust a spore out of your back or something?
Right. The other thing is you see Birdo like around an oven and stuff like that, and then serves a completely raw and alive worm.
But that doesn't surprise. That's very of Birdo's character. She's insane.
Yeah, right. Birdo's insane. And this is a really good example of a punchline.
Yes.
That you're like, okay. Like it's got the phrasing is what a punchline sounds like.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and then the closing.
Yeah, and that's it. But the words don't make any sense.
No, of course they don't.
And they're also not tied to anything we've just watched.
No. Also, if I'm that hungry,
I mean that worm.
Yeah, if that worm talks back to me, I'm eating that worm.
So what would have been funny is that if Mario had seen the worm. Okay, I'm just Captain Lou Albano here. Okay,
I like this.
I'm just improvising. I'm just improvising. Which is of course what I call Captain Lou Albano.
Yeah.
So if Mario's like spaghetti, oh my God, it's a worm, and he cuts to Luigi and he goes, oh what? And he's already eaten it.
Yes. Okay, that's great.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then the worm, half eaten, says, "I'm not a worm. I'm spaghetti. I've never been," and dies. By the way, if Captain Lou Albano is one of the great improvisers of our time,
yes,
you know what show he was on?
Oh God. Okay, wait. Give me a second because I know what show it is, and I'm trying to figure out which pun you're doing. I don't know. Go. It's Whose Line Is It Anyway, right?
Yeah. Whose line is it? Anyway, spelled WWE. Whose line? ANYWA.
As Mikey's proving, Captain Lou Albano is pretty good at improvising.
It's hard.
It's
really
so hard.
I've made like 20 dick jokes in the last 20 minutes because that's funny to me.
He's so funny. He's just like, King Koopa, suck my dick. And you're like, you got to stop saying that, Captain.
That would be, I would love that show. Someone redub the Mario show to just be no jokes, just Mario telling Koopa to suck his dick. That would be amazing.
Once again, Mario invites fellatio to King Koopa. It would also be the most Brooklyn thing of all time. Every time he just grabs his genitals, like, fuck you.
You piece of shit.
Yeah, I got some plumbing right here you got to take care of. Jesus Christ, Mario's crass.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi would be. They're just brothers from Brooklyn with a failing business.
Yeah, and they're edgy. They're on the edge.
They are edgy. Yeah. And Koopa is the landlord of the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, they're going to tell him to suck its dick at some point.
It does make me...
Or lick his feet. I don't know.
Yeah, or lick his feet. Dennis Hopper as Super Mario in the Mario... Or as
Koopa.
Koopa in the movie, the first movie that came up in the 90s. It really does make me think they're like, well, we knew what King Koopa was, but every iteration that we had was a little different.
Yes.
You know, like this cartoon one doesn't look like him, doesn't sound like him.
Right.
And then the Dennis Hopper one is.
He's got a real human being.
Yeah, he's just a human
with
head
a spiky haircut.
With ridges.
Yeah. It was weird as hell.
Yeah, weird as hell. And then we go back to real life.
We're back to real life now, and they're trying to dry off the toothpaste fairy, a.k.a. Kate.
Nicole Eggert.
Nicole Eggert.
Who, by the way, I just looked up while we were talking, was in Charles in Charge at the moment, and also went on to be in Baywatch a couple years later.
Oh, nice. Okay. She gets dusted by the furnace.
Yes. So you said go dry off by standing by the furnace.
Yes.
It blows black soot all over her.
Yes. This is just a sequence of slapstick that we're getting here, none of which really makes sense. The furnace one is kind of funny. I liked the design of the furnace.
I like the design of the furnace. Very scary.
Very scary, puppety. It's kind of like breathing.
Everything's moving in the set too.
Yes.
The set's great.
Yeah, it's great. Yes. Parts of this looked good. It's just the execution wasn't unbelievable.
No.
So she gets dusted by the furnace. Then she steps in cake. Then she sits on pizza.
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
She steps on a cake that is on the ground.
On the ground.
It's a full birthday cake. No slices out. It says like happy birthday something.
But to whom?
I don't know. It's on the ground and she goes, oh, my shoes. Why is there a fucking cake on the ground? Only to go like, well, why don't you take a seat? Like they're trying to fuck with her, right? And there's a full pie on the chair.
Full pizza pie, baby.
Oh, is it a pizza pie?
I think it's a pizza pie.
Oh, okay. So perfect. Oh, by the way, pizza's everywhere in this.
Well, they're Italian.
In the second episode, the phone is made out of pizza.
That's
and he
amazing.
presses the second pepperoni to the right for speakerphone.
That's good.
That's good.
There are moments in this.
There are. But Luigi, Danny Wells goes, well, take a seat. And he goes, oh, no, that's where my pizza pie was.
But he's already sad by the time she's starting to sit. Like, he's doing this on purpose.
Yeah, but like also you have to turn around and be like, stop fucking with me. Just let me leave this fucking hell, like this horror.
No, I disagree. I think at a certain point, it's on her. If you realize that you're in a place where anywhere there might be cake and anywhere there might be pizza, you start to look where you're going.
I agree that it is weird that she didn't look down after stepping in cake going, well, there might be cake everywhere.
There might be cake everywhere.
At every turn, there might be a cake.
Surely if there's a cake on the ground, there could be a pizza on the chair.
So as we revealed earlier, though, she's not too stressed about this.
She's not stressed.
Because she is going to a sloppy party.
She's going to a sloppy party. She says, don't worry, guys. This is totally fine.
Totally fine. Because I don't have to now pick up my costume for my upcoming tonight's sloppy party. Could you imagine? Nicole Eggert shows up, beautiful as all get out, Hollywood starlet, right? Shows up, and you're like, and she was going to wear a costume, probably like a garbage bag, garbage pail princess kind of thing, whatever. And she shows up just stinking of black soot, cake, and pizza, and you're like, Nicole, I think you took this too hard. This is a Hollywood party with many important people.
I bet you she shows up like that.
Yeah.
And every guy is going for her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is this one's deal? I'm very
It's more like a Taming of the Shrew situation of like, man, if I could introduce this woman to showers, she would be
gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
You buy low, sell high on that.
Yeah, 100%. So she's elated with this.
Elated.
Thank you for making me so
They make
sloppy.
her more sloppy.
The sloppiest.
They start to push cake onto her face.
Yes. And then they're like, oh, good. That encourages us. And she's just laughing and giggling as they smush and make her more disgusting.
Which was very arousing. I wanted to get down and lick their feet.
Thank you, Captain Albano, for making her so sloppy. Okay. This is the part that made me laugh more than anything else in this episode.
Okay.
So they cut back and Nicole Eggert's gone. She's probably on her way to the sloppy party.
Of course. She's got a party to go to.
Yeah. She's already ready to go. They
Feel
go
bad for the cab driver taking her there, though.
Yeah. She just hopped through the medicine cabinet and left. And they go, hey, what should we do now? And he goes, well, we should introduce the clips for next week's episode.
Oh, yes.
And so then Danny Wells, Captain Mario says that. Danny Wells goes, that's a good, and it cuts off halfway through the word he was saying. This was not shot live. I don't understand how there wasn't going, oh shit, it was too long. Let's do take two. No, he goes, that's a good, and it just cuts off to show the preview. I couldn't get over it. I've rewound it 3 times to go like, why?
If you were struggling for time, you couldn't have cut one of the times. Nicole.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Andrew, I watched this whole thing. That's what's wrong with me.
Why couldn't they just not smush cake into her face at
one
the
time?
end?
One time.
They cut him off saying, that's a good idea. And it just blew my mind because it immediately goes, that's a good idea. Here's Legends of Zelda.
Legend of Zelda and catching up. And it's the famous Legend of Zelda where every episode Link says, well, excuse me, princess. Yeah, it's great.
I laughed so fucking hard at Danny going, just cutting him off. Holy smokes, that was funny. And then they show that and they go back into, of course, the Mario rap.
The Mario rap, and this one is just Lou Albano.
Yep.
This is just him in a green screen.
It's him in a green screen, and not of a green screen of the Mario games or show.
No.
It's in a desert.
Yeah.
And he's saying, let's do the Mario.
Do the Mario!
Come on, everyone, do the Mario. You take a step up, you take a step back. You swing your arms, and he's, by the way, not doing those things that he's saying. And then it stops. Then he's just like, all right, let's do the Mario. And you're like, wait, that's it? Like step. And you're like expecting kids at home to be, let's copy what he's doing. He's not doing it. And then it stops after 10 seconds. It is
Let's
maddening.
do the Mario. Take one step. All right.
All right, well, you go home. Like it's like one of those crusty things where they cut back and he's looking at like an off-track betting. You're like, get out of here.
Why are you still here?
Blew my mind.
So when we finished Double Dragon,
yes.
I was like, that.
What's up,
there
chicken
were
butt?
some moments. Yeah, what's up, chicken butt? There were some moments. That was a trip. It felt like a waste of time.
Yeah.
This, I do feel like it was. I experienced something. Like I saw the face of God watching this. It was fucking out to but in a weirdly like beautiful mind kind of way. Like you can't write shit like this. It would never air unless it were on like Adult Swim or like Cartoon Network or something, but were written for the purpose of being weird.
So I kept saying it looks and feels like public access television.
Yes, it does.
It had the like not the budget, but the hastily scrapped together idea of like, we'll figure it out. Like Danny Will's getting cut off. Like it's that kind of the idea of like, fuck, it really feels like a live television show.
Yeah.
Except it's not.
It's not live. The laugh track is clearly not live. There's no one on set with them and no one is laughing.
Hurting. Oh, my head is hurting. I'm laughing so hard.
It's bizarre and honestly totally worth watching. And if you want to hear us do more Mario episodes, I think it might be in the cards. We may sprinkle those in from time to time. Who knows?
Just heads up. Sergeant Slaughter is the next one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He takes a shortcut to their place and he's on the Brooklyn Bridge and he goes, how is he taking a shortcut off the Brooklyn Bridge?
That's a great question.
And he goes, I got a Sherman tank. That's the punchline. I think he killed a lot of people.
I think he rolled over families in rush hour.
Yeah, just started running people over.
Oh my God, the streets were running red under the Sherman tank, driven by Sergeant Slaughter.
Well, I should have seen the name coming, I guess. But yeah,
so this was obvious. This was done. We put the call out after our Double Dragon episode for recommendations of things that we should do, like old TV shows, movies, all that stuff to review.
Power Rangers movie.
This was Power Rangers movie. That might be one that we do. This was the most heavily requested one. There were some others in there that we may get to, but if you do have any reviews of movies, TV, maybe some games, because we haven't done a game in a while, so we'll probably do that soon. Send us the requests of those reviews over at the retrogradepodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials. But I find that the emails work better. You can put a little note in there about yourself and about your thoughts on it, and we'll get to it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you thought about the Super Show, and if you are still, seeing colors correctly. You're
all good things, I would assume.
I would imagine so. Yeah, Captain Albano was my father. I love him very much. But until then, we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name is Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over.
My name's Donald Trump, and I support this podcast. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, that's good. That'll garner goodwill.
It will.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
What's up, chicken butt?